I'm a huge fan of action RPGs, and there's one I've been hearing great things about for a while now called Punishing Gray Raven. It has a super stylish looking action combat system and really cool character designs. Well, the team at Kuro Game, the team that develops it, reached out to see if I wanted to try the upcoming PC port, and I thought, hey, why not? So this video is sponsored by Punishing Gray Raven. And don't worry, I can say whatever I want, so you'll definitely be getting my real, honest thoughts. Now, let me just say this right off the bat, that the development team has done a great job adapting this from mobile to PC. As soon as you plug in a controller, it recognizes it, even the specific button layouts for things like PlayStation, Xbox, or whatever you decide to plug in. And you can even remap the combat controls, which is fantastic because I know we all play action games a little bit different, so the ability to customize it to whatever we want is really nice. Now, for menu navigation, it kind of acts like a mouse. It's sort of this like roving cursor, and that could be a little bit better, but for the most part, it totally works. And the game also runs at a solid 60 frames per second. In fact, I think it always has the frame rate in the upper left corner at all times, so you can see just how it's running. Now, the moment-to-moment combat feels so fantastic. Think of your favorite character action game or fast-paced action RPG, and it legitimately feels as good, if not better than those. And speaking of the gameplay, let's just jump right into that. Now, like I mentioned at the top, Punishing Gray Raven is a fast-paced action RPG. Because it was originally designed for mobile, it's very stage-based. In each story chapter, you have about 10 or so smaller missions that take a few minutes to complete, and then about 3 to 4 bigger, more challenging ones, some of which include big boss fights. Levels for the most part are pretty linear, with the objective being to defeat all the enemies. But then they also mix it up with things like stealth missions, like I said earlier, big boss battles, and even some challenge missions. Now, when you begin the game, you have one character, Lucia. She's kind of your typical action RPG character with a sword. You have a basic attack and a dodge, and if you dodge at just the right time, you'll activate this sort of bullet time mechanic where things will slow down and you can do more damage. Now, over time, and as you do more combos, you can build up special abilities, and you'll be able to do much more damage and big cool special abilities. To be honest, I found it challenging to find games outside of like Capcom and Platinum that can really do excellent character action game combat, but here the team at Kuro have managed to absolutely nail it. It just feels so fluid to play, especially with those perfect dodge mechanics, especially when enemies sort of telegraph when they're going to do attacks, so you can really plan ahead of time when you're going to dodge. And there's also challenge missions where you have a lot of enemies on screen and you have to manage them all, which is so fun to do. Overall, it just feels incredibly satisfying thanks to its silky smooth animations and really excellent sound design. And I really feel like sound design is one of the more unnoticed parts of game development, especially when it's done well, and the team here certainly deserves credit for that. Now, where Punishing Gray Raven really takes it up a notch is with its character variety. Now, let's get this out of the way now. Yes, there is a gacha system. However, the game is incredibly fair with how it distributes the currency, giving you plenty of chances to get the characters you want. In my time playing, I got about 7 characters, all who play incredibly different, and I didn't really feel like I was missing out on any part of the experience. And in my opinion, frankly, Lucia, the starting character, is one of, if not the most fun character to play. Now, let's talk about some of the other characters that I got on my team. One of the first ones I got was a character named Liv, and she's much more ranged as she has these 2 laser guns that kind of float around her that she commands, and she also seems to be much more about healing. She's not as fast or as devastating as Lucia, but she's good to have in your party to kind of mix things up. Next up, we have Lee, who's a much more mid-range fighter who uses guns. Now, he is much faster and does a ton of different types of attacks with his guns, and he was just so fun to play. Easily one of my favorite characters, and one I kept in my rotation all the time. One last character I want to mention is Nami. Now, she fights with a mech, and she has a really unique combat style, much more up close, in your face, very devastating, hard hitting, and once again, really fun to play. One character that I kept in my team often. And also, there is a certain android that's available as a guest character that I'm sure a few of you out there will want to play as. Now, when going into battles, as you prepare for battles, you can bring up to 3 characters, and you can swap between any of them on the fly. Now, once you swap out a character, they'll be on a cooldown for a little bit, but that's actually good because when you bring them back in, a lot of their abilities will be charged back up so you can execute them all at once and do tons of damage. In that sense, the game almost encourages you to constantly swap out characters so you can do a lot of damage. I love when the game lets you do that. It just feels so good and kinetic. Swapping out characters in the middle of combat is one of my favorite things, weirdly enough. Now, for you combo fiends out there, there's plenty of potential for stringing together long combos, and to me, Lucia is the best for this because she can toss enemies up in the air and juggle them. Just watch this attack string I did here. And for you waifu lovers out there, oh boy, there are so many characters and so many different costumes you can acquire for them, and here are just a few that I'm showing you now, so you'll have no shortage of cool characters to add to your team. Now let's talk about the story for just a little bit. It's set in a post-apocalyptic world overrun by corrupted cybernetic enemies caused by the punishing virus. And you're part of the elite task force Grey Raven to take them all down and take back the planet. Hence the name Punishing Grey Raven. And for the most part, the story is told through these visual novel-esque scenes, and they're voice acted in both Japanese and Chinese. And for those of you that want to dive into that, there is a lot of it, and it's pretty solid if you really want to invest into it. But for me personally, I didn't delve into it super deep as I really just wanted to get back to that excellent gameplay. Now, I absolutely need to touch on the music because, oh my god, it is just so good. It's a mix of chill and high energy electropop. In battles, it's just so jammin', really gets you pumped up for combat and just feels so good, really gets you in the flow of things. And for story moments and in the main menu, it's much more chill and relaxed. Think of things you could study and relax to. This is easily one of my favorite styles of music, and it's incredibly good here. Now, one criticism I did want to bring up is the home menu screen. It's not bad necessarily, it's just really cluttered. Because it was originally designed with mobile in mind, there's so many different sub-menus for managing items, characters, quests, and much more. Admittedly, there is a bit of a learning curve at first, but the game does a solid job of walking you through it all until you get used to it. I feel like they could have simplified it a little bit for this PC version, but like anything else, if you put enough time into it, you'll get used to it. Overall, I really enjoyed my time with this PC build of Punishing Grey Raven. It runs incredibly well even on my dinky little gaming laptop. It has tons of customization for button layouts, which I love because not every game does that. And best of all, it's free and also crossplay. So whether you've been playing on mobile and want to kind of carry over to the PC version, or if you want to just start playing today, you can go back and forth between the two versions with ease. Now, if you haven't played it already, definitely give it a try. I'll leave a link down in the pinned comment and in my description so you can check it out for yourself. And thanks once again to Kuro Game for sponsoring this video. I really appreciate this opportunity. And if you want even more cool videos covering action RPGs just like this, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. And special thanks to Reset Switch, Tyler Kuzawa, and the Miyazaki Man for supporting me over on Patreon. To get exclusive videos and other cool perks, consider supporting me over on patreon.com/thegaming shelf. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.